There is a secret wealth lies behind the mind you haven't mastered yet. Not in the economy. Not in the government. Not in your job. The root of all riches, the seat of all fortune, the source of all prosperity begins in the quiet chambers of your own mind. You were born into a world governed by invisible laws, laws of cause and effect, laws of vibration, laws of attraction, and the greatest law of all, the law of the mind. Yet, no one handed you the key. No one told you that money doesn't chase those who want it, it flows to those who expect it, believe it, embody it. You don't attract what you wish for, you attract what you are. And right now, your outer world is just a mirror, an honest reflection of your inner patterns. The bank account, the bills, the opportunities that slip through your fingers, the dreams you keep postponing, all of it is feedback from the mental blueprint you've accepted as truth. But here's what they never taught you in school: your mindset is programmable. Your beliefs are not fixed. Your identity is not permanent. Every limitation you've accepted can be rewritten. Every ceiling you've hit can be shattered. Because wealth is not something you chase, it is something you unlock. Andrew Carnegie knew it. He built an empire from nothing. He said, "The man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he is justly entitled." That's not poetry. That's principle. You see, the undisciplined mind is a leaking faucet. It drips potential into puddles of doubt. It spills energy on fear, comparison, distractions. But a trained mind? A trained mind is a force of nature. It commands reality. It bends circumstances. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones. You want unlimited money? Don't start with strategy. Start with identity. Who do you believe you are? What patterns run your life when no one is watching? What thoughts do you allow to repeat, unchecked, unnoticed? Because your subconscious mind, the silent partner to all your success, doesn't obey your wishes. It obeys your patterns. And if those patterns are shaped by scarcity, insecurity, resentment, jealousy, you could read every wealth book, take every course, hustle 18 hours a day, and still stay broke in spirit. But when you change the root, when you rewire the soil of your mind, when you plant new beliefs with purpose, nourish them with repetition, protect them with discipline, the fruit will come. The outer world cannot help but rearrange itself to match the frequency of your inner world. Most people never understand this. They chase tactics without transforming the thinker. They copy habits without shifting identity. They repeat affirmations like broken spells, never realizing the magic is not in the words, it's in the conviction. Listen carefully, money responds to energy. Not desperation. Not force. But aligned energy. Calm certainty. A belief so strong it feels like destiny. That belief must be built. Crafted. Forged in silence, fed in solitude. This is the unseen work. The morning declarations. The mental rehearsals. The refusal to let fear make your decisions. The daily reminders of who you are and who you're becoming. Not someday, now. Because wealth is not coming to the version of you who doubts. Wealth is not coming to the identity built on failure. It is coming to the version of you that exists beyond fear, beyond lack, beyond victimhood. You must become that version now. You must walk like them. Speak like them. Think like them. Move like them. The mindset comes before the money. The frequency comes before the fortune. The decision comes before the reward. You are not waiting on money. Money is waiting on you. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they lack clarity. Clarity is the ignition switch of the mind. When you see your vision with vivid precision, when your goals are no longer foggy concepts but burning obsessions, your actions align, your habits refine, and your entire psychology begins to orbit that single purpose. You don't wander into wealth. You build your way there, brick by brick, with the mortar of focus. Think of a magnifying glass under the sun. Spread the rays too wide and nothing happens. But focus them into a single point and it can burn through steel. That's what clarity does. It concentrates your mind into a force that becomes impossible to ignore. Clarity is not a wish list. It is a command. It says, "This is who I am. This is what I will create. And nothing will shake me from it." You have that same power. But you've let the world distract you from it. You've been hypnotized by failure, seduced by comfort, trained to believe that wealth is for them, not for you. That lie must die today. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your circumstances. You are the architect of your internal world, and your internal world shapes everything outside of it. Once you understand this, your power becomes terrifying. That's why so many people never change. They fear their own potential. They fear the responsibility that comes with knowing they were the obstacle all along. But if you can face that truth, if you can look in the mirror and say, "It was me," then you can also say, "It will be me." From this moment on, you must train your mind like a warrior trains for battle. Because every day you wake up, you are in a mental war. And the enemies are stealthy: self-doubt, procrastination, distraction, fear, scarcity thinking, envy. These enemies don't kick down your door. They whisper. They suggest. They creep in through unchecked thoughts, through endless scrolling, through conversations with small-minded people who call your dreams unrealistic because they've already buried their own. You must become ruthless with your environment. Protect your peace like it's gold, because it is. Guard your attention like it's currency, because it is. Refuse to allow anything into your mind that isn't moving you closer to the life you were born to create. Because here's the truth: the world will give you exactly what you believe you're worthy of. Not what you wish for. Not what you hope for. What you believe you're worthy of. That belief isn't built through motivation. It's built through discipline. Daily. Repeatedly. Relentlessly. You rewire your mind the same way you train a muscle, by showing up even when you don't feel like it. By doing the mental reps, by catching every thought that doesn't serve your future and replacing it with one that does. I am not broke, I am in the process of building wealth. I am not lost, I am refining my direction. I am not unlucky, I am in alignment with divine timing. Say it. Repeat it. Own it. Because repetition creates belief. And belief creates identity. And identity shapes destiny. Most people never cross this bridge. They drown in doubt, paralyzed by overthinking, waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is forged in action. Not in hesitation. Your mind was not built to coast. It was built to create. To conquer. To build worlds from thoughts. That is your divine gift, and the longer you ignore it, the louder your soul will scream. There is a voice inside you that knows. It doesn't need evidence. It doesn't care about your bank account. It doesn't care what people say. It knows deeply, surely, without question, that you are meant for more. That voice is your true self. And your job is to amplify it until it drowns out everything else. Until you stop shrinking. Until you stop doubting. Until you stop waiting. You do not need permission to succeed. You do not need approval to rise. You do not need a green light to begin. The gates to wealth are opened from the inside. And your mindset is the key. Now comes the part where most turn back. The part where the mental resistance tightens its grip. The part where your old self claws to survive. Because once you commit to changing your mindset, everything you haven't healed will rise. Every excuse you've ever used will scream louder. Every old belief will beg to stay. You'll hear the voices: "It's too late. You're not smart enough. You failed before, you'll fail again. What if they laugh at you? What if you lose everything?" These are not your truths, they are the ghosts of your past conditioning. They are echoes from a world designed to keep you average. A system that rewards obedience, not greatness. That trains you to settle, not to soar. But you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken. You were meant to realize that thoughts are not harmless. Every thought is a seed. And if you plant fear, you harvest limitation. But if you plant faith, you harvest possibility. Every single day, you are tending the garden of your destiny with every word you speak, every image you dwell on, every emotion you entertain. The universe is always listening. And not to your mouth, to your frequency. You can't fool it. You can't beg it. You must become it. You want more money? Then stop thinking like someone in survival. Start thinking like someone who commands abundance, not with arrogance, but with alignment. With deep, unwavering certainty that wealth is your birthright. Not because you're entitled to it, but because you are willing to become the person who can handle it. That's the difference. Anyone can want money. But few will develop the emotional and spiritual capacity to hold it, grow it, and use it wisely. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you're ready for. That readiness comes through the fire. Through sacrifice. Through early mornings and late nights. Through saying no to temporary pleasure and yes to long-term greatness. Through rewiring your habits so deeply that success becomes your default setting, not your fantasy. That's what it means to master your mindset. It means training your focus like an elite athlete. It means disciplining your speech so that every word affirms your power, not your problems. It means controlling your emotional state, not letting the chaos of the world dictate your peace. And most of all, it means believing when there's no proof yet. That is the test. The universe doesn't reward the one who waits for evidence. It rewards the one who believes in advance. You must walk as if. Speak as if. Think as if. Alignment is everything. Not hustle. Not grind. Not obsession. Alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions are in harmony with the future you want, reality bends. That's not mysticism, that's mental physics. Everything is energy. Money is energy. And energy follows order. You give the order with your dominant vibration. And you reinforce that order with every choice, every discipline, every time you keep a promise to yourself. It's not just about thinking rich. It's about becoming internally rich so deeply, so consistently, so unapologetically that poverty thinking can't survive in your presence. People will feel it. Doors will open. Ideas will flow. And not because you're lucky, but because you've become the kind of person who naturally attracts abundance. Not from desperation, but from identity. You must stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. You go first. You believe. You act. You speak the language of wealth long before the world understands you. That's what every pioneer has done. That's what every self-made millionaire has done. It's in your mind. Because when you train your mind, when you master your internal world, everything external becomes yours to shape. That's the real secret of wealth. It's not out there. It never was. It's inside you waiting to be unlocked. So many chase shortcuts. They want hacks, tricks, fast money, easy success. But the most powerful wealth-building principle is ancient and eternal. Master yourself, and you master everything. Look at every titan of wealth, and you'll find the same truth underneath it all: they mastered themselves before they mastered the marketplace. Money simply expands who you already are. If you're broken inside, money breaks you further. If you're solid, grateful, and driven by purpose, and money becomes a weapon for change. That's why mindset comes first. Because when the wealth arrives, it won't fix you, it will expose you. And if your identity isn't built to hold it, it will slip through your fingers like sand. So the real work, the real wealth building, is becoming the person who deserves to receive it. Not by begging. Not by pretending. But by becoming. You must operate from the level of consciousness where wealth already exists. That means you think differently. You walk differently. You enter rooms with presence. You speak with intention. You breathe like someone who is ready. People will sense it before they see it. Opportunities will show up not because you chased them, but because your vibration invited them. This is how wealth flows to those who seem magnetic, because they are. They become human lighthouses. Beacons of belief in a world drowning in doubt. And here's the secret most ignore: gratitude is the fuel that amplifies all of it. Gratitude is not passive. It's not just saying thank you at the dinner table. It's a radical weapon. A rewiring tool. A frequency that forces your brain to stop focusing on what's missing and start focusing on what's present. Gratitude trains your mind to live in abundance before the abundance arrives. And that act alone, that choice, is what pulls the future into the now. Because the mind that's grateful for $10 will attract $10,000. And the heart that celebrates every small win? That heart will be handed far greater victories. You don't wait for success to be grateful. You become grateful, and success begins to accelerate. So start giving thanks for things that haven't happened yet but will. Thank you for the opportunities that are finding me. Thank you for the financial overflow on its way. Thank you for the strength I've built through struggle. Thank you for the wealth I am now aligned with. The world responds to energy. The universe responds to declaration. Life responds to the one bold enough to speak it before they see it. So speak it. Let every morning be a reminder that you are not a prisoner of your past, you are a pioneer of your future. Let every night be a closing ceremony for doubt and an opening ceremony for faith. And when the fear rises, when the doubt screams, when the circumstances feel impossible, don't retreat. Double down. That is your signal. That is your test. That is life asking, do you really believe this, or are you just pretending? And in that moment, you must stand tall. You must say, I will not break. I will not beg. I will not go back. I was not born to be broke, I was born to become a force. Because when you decide this with your entire being, not just your mouth, but your mind, your habits, your words, your walk, then the world begins to move. Then the ideas arrive. Then the clients show up. Then the doors open. Not out of chance, but out of consequence. This is the universal law in motion. The law Napoleon Hill spoke of when he wrote, "There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge." And now you know, the only prison was in your own perception. Break it. Shatter the walls. And build, in its place, a new foundation, one built on faith, discipline, vision, and relentless belief. You are no longer chasing money. You are attracting it because you've become the kind of person who naturally aligns with wealth. Stand up internally. This is your rebirth. Not with noise. Not with fanfare. But with decision. A quiet, unshakable decision that from this moment forward, poverty is no longer your story. Scarcity is no longer your language. Doubt is no longer your rhythm. From now on, wealth is not a fantasy, it is your responsibility. Because every gift inside you was planted with purpose. And when you suppress your potential, you don't just rob yourself, you rob the world. There are people waiting on the version of you you haven't become yet. People whose lives will shift because you had the courage to master your mind, step into power, and rise into your highest self. This isn't about chasing cars or counting zeros. It's about knowing that with wealth comes impact. With money comes movement. With abundance comes the ability to serve at scale, to change generations, to uplift your family, to liberate others just by being who you were meant to be. But it all starts inside. Before the accounts grow, the mind must grow. Before the life changes, the belief must change. Before the vision manifests, the identity must rise. So ask yourself now, not tomorrow, not next week, who are you becoming? What version of you would make wealth inevitable? How do they think? How do they walk into rooms? What do they allow, and what do they no longer tolerate? What standards do they hold for their thoughts, their emotions, their energy? What do they do with their mornings, their evenings, their weekends? That version of you isn't far away. They're already inside you, suffocating under years of programming, waiting for you to decide. To step out of the cycle of lack and into the current of limitless abundance. Because the moment you stop letting fear run your life, the moment you stop letting the past predict your future, the moment you take back dominion over your mind, that's when life bows to you. Not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned with the power you've had all along. And yes, this will demand more from you than anything has before. It will require you to leave behind the old stories. I'm not smart enough. I've failed too many times. Money is evil. I don't know where to start. People like me don't win. Burn them. Burn them to the ground. You will not build an empire on the ashes of self-pity. You will build it on fire, the fire of vision, faith, grit, and emotional conviction so strong that the universe has no choice but to respond. There will be days when you're tired. Days when nothing makes sense. Days when doubt crawls back in, disguised as logic. That's when you return to your mind, the fortress you've trained. And you remind yourself, I am not here to survive, I am here to thrive. I am not here to wish, I am here to create. I am not here to follow, I am here to lead. Your mindset is not decoration. It is weaponry. And if you master it fully, ruthlessly, unapologetically, there is nothing this world can withhold from you. Money will come. Opportunities will come. Growth will come. Not because it was handed to you, but because you became the person who commands it. You did the unseen work. The mental rewiring. The spiritual elevation. The daily decision to rise when you could have slept. To speak truth when you could have stayed silent. To walk forward when everything in you said to quit. And in doing so, you have become untouchable. Unshakable. Unstoppable. This is the truth they never taught you in school. You were never broke. You were simply unaligned. Now, you are aligned. Now, you are clear. Now, you are dangerous to every limitation that once controlled you. You have mastered your mindset. And with it, you will attract unlimited money. Because you finally understand. It was never about the money. It was always about you.